Bro, what if I told you, scratch Quentin Jefferson, all that talk, right? What if
Johnson,
I
Johnson.
told you, I'm sorry, Johnson. I keep thinking Justin Jefferson. But what if I told you, like, straight up, we give up our 6th or 7th round pick, we get Sed back, and Miami eats half the salary, and we don't have to draft a receiver. Like, we're covered.
Oh no, I mean I would take that, but I'm not. If Quentin Johnson there at 26, I'm gonna have to take a look at it regardless. You know what I mean? I think if you got a guy like that that's built like that, a 6'4" guy, you got a transcendent talent, possibly a guy that you could put across from CeeDee Lamb, a true X. Because let's be honest, Said always be a 3. He's never
Right.
gonna be a 2. But if you got a chance to get you a T Higgins type 1A 1B situation, I think you go for it, man. So
That's fair.
but I mean, shit, I won't be mad at it. I like Said though, for sure.
Oh, no, that's fair. Yeah, we'd probably end up overpaying for him if that's the case. But talking about the draft, and we have a list of our top 30 visits. Obviously, we don't have the full list. There's still more visits available. But on the offensive side of the ball, man, we've brought in Steve Avila from TCU. You know, that's the guard I'm hoping is there at 26. Like, if we can leave April 27th with Steve Avila, bro, I'm happy. I am happy. That's a safe pick. And we can do what we need to do offensively with an improved offensive line.
That's what we need.
Right.
Truthfully. Like if we can get that round 1, I think we're in business, man. Just depending on who's there, you know what I mean? Like if obviously a BPA like we talked about with Jefferson, not Jefferson, I'm sorry, Johnson or you know what I mean, Nolan Smith. Just teams suck at drafting, man. So we don't know who is going to be on the board. But then if one of these other guys are there, do you draft I mean, you can't look at it in hindsight saying like I don't draft the Villa, knowing that maybe Mafia will not be there or be there. Does that force your hand a little bit? You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, we do know the interior is a little weak in this draft, so maybe neither one of these guys are there the next time you come around. So it is something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, it's like Mafia as well. I don't see Avila making it to us. Like I almost like don't think it's a scenario where we have to trade back. I do think there's going to be a run on the guards, on all the offensive linemen.
Yeah, definitely a run on tackles early. You know what I mean? But when you look at it, like I said, I think the quarterbacks, you know what I mean, will obviously go early. I'm hoping that like Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, like all these guys, like go early.
Yeah, take
like,
all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, take all of them. You know what I mean? And then by the time we pick, you know what I mean, maybe somebody falls right into our lap, and then, you know what I mean, we on here, you know what I mean, having a draft night party or something. So
right. No, absolutely. We brought in tight ends. Payne Durham out of Purdue, Braden Willis out of Oklahoma. Both big boys. Durham 6'5", 255. Like that's a monster tight end. Basically a left tackle. And then Willis 6'4", 240, man. Stats wise, not the best. Durham had 56 catches, 560, 8 tubs the last year in college. But also with Braden Willis, he is athletic and 39 catches, 514, 7. But when they want to run the Wildcat, they do let him sling it a little bit. They do let him run the ball a little bit. So he is more of an athletic guy. But these aren't even guys to talk about day 1 or probably day 2. Like this is probably day 3 guys, you know? So
which I like.
It doesn't seem like we're...
If they're not bringing in Kincaid and Washington, obviously the list ain't fully developed. I think we get our idea that the Cowboys are not drafting a tight end early. They kind of looking towards some of these guys in the middle round, which you know what I mean? I think you got a Will McClure there. They know. Like, don't do this. Don't fuck this up.
Right. And that gives me high hopes for my boy Ferguson too.
Yeah. I got a hot take, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Peyton Hendershot, you know what I mean, comes in and just be the better player than Jake Ferguson. We might have a Gavin Escobar and Dalton Shaw situation just repeating itself out all over again. Just don't be surprised if it happens. Both guys are beasts, but I do think Hendershot, I'm sorry, but I think he definitely has the blocking. He's the better blocker, and he got some sneaky athleticism to him. So, but I like both. I think Ferguson will be so. No need to attack this that early.
No, for sure. Obviously, we brought in your boy Quentin Johnson for a visit as well.
Yes, sir.
And it's crazy because, you know, I was so high on Johnson like halfway through the season, but then I just fell in love with Addison. You know, so it's like...
Yeah. You know what I mean? I just said it's crazy, man. Only reason I would say the Cowboys probably would lean towards him. He's like their prototype of receiver, what they like. You know what I mean? Sure. But Jackson Smith and the Jigma... I think all 3 guys at the top, if there was a fall, you have to consider it. Because, I mean, if you look at it from a size standpoint, it works. But then both of those other two guys, Jigma Smith, well, Smith and Jigma, whatever, reverse it, however you want to put it. But him and Addison are both good route runners. You know, what I
Right.
mean, if there's anything that we like guys that can get open, separation receivers for Deck. So I think all these guys make sense at the top of the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if it's all three different orders. You know what I mean? It could be Addison first, it could be Jackson Smith, it could be Johnson. But I mean, all the guys at the top, I like. Zay Flowers, that was a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially seeing how we got a Brandon Cooks, a smaller receiver. I don't know if the Cowboys will bring in two, but I will say I think this is the most explosive receiver in the draft as far as separation and a guy that you can get the ball in his hands. You might have another playmaker in there, so I like it. But maybe we transition it with a Mike McCarthy. Maybe it's time to throw away all the the traits and stuff that we once
Hey, that's
had.
fair.
And maybe he's telling Will McClay, hey, look a little bit deep in in the pot and kind of switch up these recipes. So just a little bit, just a tad bit.
No, that's absolutely. I didn't even consider we are going to be running a new scheme as well.
Yeah, so you need yak guys. In the West Coast offense, you as a guy you get your hands in your playmakers and they make plays. And Zay Flowers fit the bill right there. So I'm not surprised that it just surprised with the fact that they doing it after they bring in a Brandon Cooks, like I stated before. So, but hey, I'll sign me up for it.
No, for sure.
At pick 26, no. Trade back possibility. Early second round, late second round if he falls to us. I'll take it.
To be honest with this draft, man, like I know we kind of spoke about it earlier, but I just keep hearing, like the top 10 to 15 picks, like most of these teams, it's like guys 1 through 10, 1 through 15, and then like 15 through 80 is just like pick one. Like it's not like this heavy of a talent wise in the draft.
Yeah, it's not one of the deeper drafts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like 4th, 5th, 6th round picks this draft are going to be way less exciting. Like there's not a Devin Lloyd or anybody falling in the draft. So it's like I don't know. It's kind of tricky, but I think
I mean, why not?
I would not be
somebody
mad.
Somebody falls every year,
right?
Now go ahead and finish your thought.
No, given how it shakes out, man, I wouldn't be mad if like Avila's gone. Like let's say the best player on the board right there, Quentin Johnson is gone. Let's say the best player on the board right there is Zay Flowers. Like I have no problem trading back into this out of day one to accrue more picks.
Oh, you got some big boys in the middle like Mozzie Smith. I feel like the crazy thing is I feel like if you think about the Cowboys and how we construct it, right, I think the trenches is like the only missing piece on both sides. So you think about it like if we can get a powerful player next to Tyler Smith or a tackle, vice versa, we kind of settle this thing right there and we kind of set and we move into this thing like ready to go. If you think about the defense, on the other flip side, we got playmakers at every level. We got the 3-headed monster at safety. We got freaking Gilmore, Diggs, you throw in a Bland, a rising slot corner with the defensive line that we have, with the pass rushers. The only thing we're missing is a run stop in the middle. And I mean, if you got a chance to get one of those guys, hey, at 26, why not? That's the only position I felt like later on in the draft, you don't really find that guy. You might find a big run stopper but is he a 3-down player?
Right.
And if you think about like the Devon Paynes and some of the bigger boys that came out in the last couple of years. What's the big boy over there in New York? Was it Dexter Lawrence?
With the Giants, yeah.
With the Giants, yeah. Like
and
all those big
Quentin Williams,
they're first round talents. You don't find these guys in the 3rd or 4th round. You know what I mean? So if you have a guy there, I'm not mad at it as well. So trenches though, build through the trenches.
One thing I've always been upset about as a Cowboys fan is I feel like in my time watching the boys, we have never had one of the top 5 safeties or one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Like we've never had an Ndamukong Suh or like a Ed Reed type player on those 2 levels. Like we've had good guys. We've had Barry Church. He was nice. We had Roy Williams for a minute. DT, we had Marcus Spears. We've had guys there, but we have never had the guy there.
Nah.
Like right now we have the edge rusher. We have the corners.
Yeah.
Not but good corners, but we had prime time. Yeah, so it's we've just never had that guy.
The last thing I could think about as far as the Cowboys having like a dominant run stuff, I would have to say was David Irvin, man. Him and when I used to see him play, if he could have just put it all together, man, he was exciting. And as far as safety, like to see what Dan Quinn has done with these guys and to kind of solidify that safety room, man, I think it says a lot about him more so than the player. Not to knock those players, but you know what I mean, he came in and, you know what I mean, he's cooking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And, you know, like safety wise, like what we have now, like they're not blue chip, I wouldn't say, but they're not blue chip. You know, like they're closer to being blue chip than not. But I do think we got to find a center field safety. Hooker is nice, but he's not a true, like, he's not a top 5 center field safety. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, so now go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Now I was gonna say, all right, so let me ask you this question.
Talk
How
to me.
many true center field safeties are in the league at this moment?
Today, not many.
Not
That's
many,
the
right?
right. It's like trying to find a starting quarterback.
Like you
But that's
I,
my point. We've just
yeah.
never had that.
Like when your Earl Thomases came out and your Mika Fitzpatrick's, like we knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? But a strong safety, like I think it back to the boy, was it Kyle Hamilton last year? We knew like he's a beast, but is he a true center field? Probably not. You know what I mean?
No, that's
But
a box safety.
I don't think it's a guy like that in this draft, which is why I like the Cowboys' philosophy of, you know what I mean, not going after a safety. I know we hate to say like draft the safety every year, but I think they had this mindset of, hey, if it's not one of those guys, you know what I mean, we're not going to get it. You know,
right.
I wanted Derwin James that year. I think we would have took Derwin James if he was there. Yeah. But you know what I mean, LV came in, and obviously that's another player that's been here 8 years. So I mean, as far as our first round picks, the hit rate that the Cowboys got is just crazy, man.
No, outside of Taco and Morris Claiborne, bro, we killed the first round.
Yeah, and they did it again last year. Like not last year. With Michael Parsons. Remember the Cowboys? Yeah. Like, I don't take a off ball linebacker. We won't do it. But somebody in that room said, "Hey, we say a little bit more in this guy." Was that Dan Quinn? You know what I mean? But that was a time where they went against their philosophy. So maybe that's a Zay Flowers. Maybe that's some of these guys that maybe they'll go against the grain if you're getting a true playmaker on your team.
And that's fair too, because like we have no idea. You know, Zay Flowers could have come in for an interview, and he might just be a genius when it comes to the playbook. Like he might just understand the game more than Quentin Johnson. So then you have those intangibles to work off of. Like let's say Johnson shows up, and no, not to put it on him, but like let's say he just kind of doesn't really get football. Like he just happens to be athletic, but he doesn't like know the game like say Zay Flowers. You never know. So same with like what's his name, Bryce Young. They're saying like his ability, like the way he knows the game, is crazy. And if he was only like 6'2", bro, he'd be a generational talent.
Well, I think with him, hopefully he goes to the right team.
Right.
You know what I mean, it has been guys that show them they could be short and process and do all the things. Maybe he's that guy. You know what I mean? We've seen it too. It's not the tallest guy. And you know, it's a knock on him. We heard, you know, certain people come out and say he wasn't going to be this, and last year he came out slinging it. You know what I mean?
But that's the problem with Bryce Young. Tua's small frame, man, he got beat up like bad.
That's true.
So it's kind of like that's what the fear is with Bryce Young, is that size. The durability, is it there? Can you put on more weight with your frame? Like there's a lot that goes into that. So it's like, it's awesome. Like I bet you, like without a doubt, after football, he'll be a phenomenal coach or something like that. With the way that they're talking about like how he knows the game, but can it translate to the pros? That's the question.
I think the right team, right system. You know what I mean? If it's a guy, you put him out there, the offensive line is bad, it's a bad team. I mean, you could say that almost for any quarterback, though, so I won't go that deep into it. But I think with him, I think that also rings true. Definitely got to get him in the right situation. But I mean, the arm talent is there for sure.
Right. And, you know, and the Panthers, although offensively, like, they're kind of a mess, we can like, they're not the number one pick because they suck that bad. Like, they got a nice defense over there. Like, they're not that far off.
Let's just hope all these teams just suck it up, right? I want to see some names just coming off the board where I'm like, what the hell? Okay, all right, whatever. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to just be there, you know what I'm saying, waiting. I hope to see, like, some of these big names coming off the board. Not big names, but I hope to see some falling. Like, just let a Jalen Carter continue to slide. Let a Nolan Smith or one of these guys slide. I wouldn't be, as much as I could see us trading back, I wouldn't be surprised if we was to trade up to maybe, like, pick 17 or 18. Just to get a guy. You know what I mean?
So that was my other thing. So, you know, Jerry was like, you know, we got a big splash in the works. I don't think that was Gilmore or Cooks. The only two things I think it could be is a possible trade up on draft night, or them extending like Trayvon Diggs or something and being like, oh, guys, look what we did. But I can definitely see a path. I could definitely, yeah, I'm not pumped about that. Like, that's your job. Go do that. Like, give me some exciting news. Like, if we trade up, say, like you said, pick 18, and we go up there to grab Quentin Johnson, like, I'm cool with that. I think that's a smart move. But those picks we give up do translate to players. So it's like, similar to the Jamal Adams, like we talked about. That was what, CD and Trayvon.
It depends how far we got to trade up. Like if you, we have to look at the trade value scale, but is
Right.
moving up 4 or 5 picks, is that worth a first round pick for the next year? If so, no. But if you're telling me that we can move up 6 or 7 spots and possibly toss in maybe like a third round pick and do maybe another pick swap later on, cool, sign me up for it.